All right, welcome back to the Canadian Gooner channel, and this afternoon I have a very, very special episode for you. Special because Arsenal just beat Brighton 3-0, and we scored 3 more goals, so +3 in the goal differential. We've gone +1 on Man City today in goal differential. We've added extra pressure on Liverpool tomorrow, but most importantly, we've gotten the 3 points against a squad that in past years, in the more recent history, have given us some troubles, including a 3-0 win at the Emirates last year for Brighton that was just, well, we were already pretty deflated at that point, but was just even more deflating. So I have a few points I want to touch on, kind of recap the match, and then give my player ratings. So essentially, right off the start, Odegaard we had a free kick in the Brighton defending third, and Odegaard with a tremendous ball in to Big Gabby, who, you know what, 9 times out of 10 he scores that. 99 times out of 100 I think he scores that. We've seen it time and time again. He does not miss those headers, but he did. And I would say the first 10 minutes or so after that, Brighton actually looked quite bright. But after that, I'd say the next 10 to 20 minutes, we created 2 quick opportunities. Saka had a great opportunity on the break where he cut it back and just missed the far post. And how many times have we seen him put that in? And then Jesus with a really good hit actually at the top of the box. One-time hit, going for that in-swinging curler around the keeper inside the post, but it was just a little too close to the keeper and he made a nice save. So, overall, the first half was a positive first 35 minutes. It was a little bit open, and one thing I noticed, especially the whole first half, was Brighton was breaking our press quite easily, and they were doing so by finding their midfield, and they were trespassing or bypassing our midfield too easily, and I felt like there's a few times where I saw both Jorginho and Declan Rice push really far forward in the press, and we left one man open in the midfield. Or if we did leave one man back, it was Jorginho, and Brighton have some pretty quick athletic midfielders, and so if they found that midfielder, that center midfielder, he was able to often turn away from Jorginho and run away. But, overall, we were still solid defensively. I think Brighton really had one opportunity all match, and it was it was a half chance, but it was a really good hit from Enciso there in the first corner, the first half, the top left-hand side of the box, cut in on his right foot, hit a shot that wasn't quite right in the top corner, but it wasn't too far, and Raya made a really nice save. And then what minute was it? I don't have it down here exactly. It was around the 30-something minute, early 30 minute, early 30s, in the early 30s. Gabby Jesus won a pen with a delightful bit of skill in the corner of the box. Kind of drew Tarek Lamptey in, little dink, flicked it over his leg. Lamptey got a piece of the ball, but he also, with his follow-through, completely took Gabby out, and Gabby was still going to get to that ball. So for me, it's a penalty. It's an obvious penalty, and Starboy stepped up. Saka, I didn't think really did much all game. I thought he's quite quiet. I still think he's nursing that hamstring injury. I still don't think we should have started him. But he scored the penalty, and it was a great penalty at that. The keeper went the wrong way, but even if he'd gone the right way, he wasn't stopping that. That's going in against any keeper, low and hard, right in the corner against any keeper in the world. Okay, so yeah, to end the half, I thought we were quite bright again. We had a couple of cutback opportunities right across the face of goal where I made a note here, which is ironic because I'll come back to this in a little bit, but we just didn't have anyone getting on the end of those 2 cutbacks across the face of goal. And I made a note here saying maybe showing the need for a striker who's more of a box striker, who makes that run and who risks himself and takes the risk of putting himself into the 6-yard box so that he can get a tap in potentially, or a deflection, or cause some havoc and score that way. Obviously, Havertz did exactly that in the second half, so that's why I say I'll come back to it, and it's kind of ironic. I was thinking, Havertz, where were you on those 2 chances in the first? Made up for it in the second. I had a note here thinking it could have been 2 or 3-0, genuinely. I mean, we had some really good opportunities. Saka's, like I said early on, where he cut back onto his left, 9 times out of 10, he puts that in the far corner, kind of Mo Salah style on that right-hand side. Gabby could have scored one. Big Gabby definitely should have scored on that first minute free kick I was talking about. Jesus, there's one opportunity where it was actually a pretty good hit at the top of the box. I didn't think he could have done too much better than that. It was a half chance. But then there was another one where he had an open header, and to be frank, it wasn't the easiest chance, but he didn't even get close to the net. And this is another thing I have with Jesus. I've talked about it a couple times, is all around the pitch, he does things where you think, wow, that is class. That is world class. That touch and tight, the strength, the quick skills. He's dropping guys left and right. The skill to beat Lamptey to win the penalty. And then when he has a chance near goal, it's just like, what happens to him? He just kind of turns into a child in front of the net, often with his finishing. So anyway, good squad player. It's still love having him as a squad player, as a guy who can come in a game like this. I don't think he's a starter right now. I don't think he's a starter. When we're all fit, he's not a starter. Havertz for me starts up top. Obviously, Gabby Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right. But yeah, he's a wonderful option to have off the bench. Think about all those incredible City teams that had Gabby Jesus as a squad player, as that guy who can play up top, play on the right, play on the left, etc. If and when you need a defensive shift, if and when you need a little bit more strength and power and athleticism, etc. Okay, I did have I actually made a note here, which is kind of funny looking back, that Saka looked bright in the first half, because at the end of the match I thought, well, Saka had a rough go, but I guess in the first half he did look more springy, he did look brighter, and he had some opportunities. So maybe my second half clouded that judgment a little bit, so I'm glad I make notes like this. So, and then another note I made is, would like to see Partey come on. We're just getting bypassed in the midfield way too easily a few times by Brighton. And while nothing really ever came of it, they had a lot of opportunities where they were running at us 4-on-4, 4v5, 5v4, etc. because they were just bypassing our midfield too easily when we were pressing. There was just a big gap there. So I felt that Partey's athleticism could help close that down. But anyway, Partey did not come on. Georgie and Rice played the entire match. And second half, the first note I have is just Ben White's hilarious. And he is. He's just so funny. He's such a wind-up merchant. I love him. He's such on one end, he's such a warrior. He's been playing through this knee injury all season, which might need surgery in the offseason. Apparently, we just found out the other day. And he plays like pretty much 90 minutes, all match, every match. And then on the other hand, he does he leaves a little extra in on a few tackles. He's in their face. He's talking. He's staring them down. He does this every match, and then he gets kind of like pushed in the chest, grabbed with who was it there? Estuvi, I'm not really sure how you pronounce his name. Number 30 for Brighton, left-footed left back, who also plays in the midfield. Who was a decent player, but kind of gave White White gave him a bit of a shoulder, and then he turned around and gave him a little bit of a shove in the chest, and White went down like he had his throat sliced. It was hilarious. Yeah, he's just a funny guy. He just really is funny, and he must wind the hell up out of the opposition. Okay, I wrote at in the 58th minute, game's getting testy. It's fun. It was a good game. It was a testy game. It was fun. It was back and forth. There were some physical battles. There was a lot of after whistle stuff, and I love it. Arsenal don't back down anymore from that stuff. The old Arsenal did. This Arsenal, we do not shy away from that. In fact, we relish it. And I think the fact that Brighton turned it into that game played into our hands. And it was kind of a bit of a scrappy play that led to our second goal. Saka got fouled. He got hacked down, but we kept going. Brighton kind of to me they were more trying to. Anyway, well, Saka got taken. We'll come back to this. Saka got taken down. Ball ends up, I believe, in Odegaard's feet. Odegaard he had so many nice little touches in that the top. The top right hand corner of the box, just that area that he likes to play in, that box, that little foam. He can dribble in a phone booth there and maneuver the ball and maneuver defenders and then play a little through ball, and he did exactly that. And who was there making the run? None other than the overlapping king, Jorginho. I'm obviously joking, but Jorginho made a fantastic heads up play to see the space. He made that run like a bombing, marauding, overlapping fullback would. And not just that, I thought he did really well in the fact that he didn't just cross it across the box blindly first time. He realized he had a bit of time and space. He took a touch, he composed himself, he looked up, and he played a great little slide rule pass across the box, little cutback across the box to Havertz, who came storming through, beat three Brighton defenders. So my first half comment on us not having the striker who makes those runs, well, Havertz must have heard me subconsciously and went, I'll show you, Taylor. And thank you for showing me, Havertz. I loved it. Beat 3 Brighton players to it. Slots it in, and that was really the end of the match for me, and really important, the all important second goal. And it's so fun now to be able to be up 2-0 away from home against a really good team like Brighton, and with 30 minutes left, and be like, we got this in the bag, because our defense is so solid now. We are so solid. That low block. We let Brighton just have the ball the last 30 minutes of the match, and they didn't have a sniff. They didn't have one single opportunity, hey? They didn't have one single opportunity. Gabriel Saliba snuffed everything out. I thought they were great again. I thought Saliba specifically this game, not just defensively, just his composure on the ball. He had one moment where he gave the ball away a couple times in like a 5-second span, but otherwise he was pristine. He was perfection for me. And the rest of the squad, we just sit back in our shape. We defend. Even when we got tired, I noticed we were getting tired the last 15, 20 minutes again, which is maybe a bit of a concern. We're playing every 3 days here between now and the end of the season pretty much. And I noticed some tired legs. I thought Declan Rice looked tired. I thought Ben White looked tired again. I thought Odegaard looked a little bit tired. Jorginho looked a little bit tired. But I digress. We were able to sit back, conserve some energy, and just hold our shape and not give Brighton a single sniff. And then finally made some changes, freshened things up a little bit. And I had a note here saying no rest for Odegaard, ? And then my next note after that is Trossard seals it. Good job to win the ball back by him. Pokes it free to Kai, who sends him through first time. And those aren't always easy. You might think, oh wow, he's got an entire half to run into. He's got a breakaway. He's got no one in front of him. He's got the full half of the field to run into and to put the ball home easy, right? That is far from easy. I know they're professional football players, but the amount of times I've seen a professional football player go in on goal like that, have that much time, either take a touch that's too heavy, not heavy enough, and allow the guy behind him to catch up, or too heavy and allow the keeper to sweep, or just have way too much time to think. It's like 4 or 5 seconds from the time he picks the ball up at halfway to the time he gets to the keeper. Too much time to think, overthinks his finish, and just doesn't score. I thought he did tremendously well, kept his composure, cut across the Brighton player who was catching up to him. Trossard's not the quickest, but he's very intelligent, very smart, and he cut across him to get in the way and made sure that the Brighton player had no chance of getting to him. Goalie came out, and it was a nice little dinked finish over the top. Very coolly dinked over the top of the keeper. And I absolutely love his celebration. That guy is cool. That is a cool cat right there. Just staring at the crowd like this, just no emotion. Just he knows he's a confident cat, and I appreciated it. And some people may be upset that he celebrated a little bit against his old squad. By all accounts, there were some issues there before he left and came to Arsenal last year. And you know what? I'm okay with someone celebrating a goal. We are in a title race right now, and we're not thinking about our old teams. I didn't think it was disrespectful, his celebration. I just thought he's like, you know what? We are in a title race right now. This is a huge goal. On goal differential, this is important. I believe we're now back to 11 ahead of City, maybe 12 in goal differential, and 9 ahead of Liverpool before their match tomorrow, where I think they might pull a couple back. But when the title race is so tight, it might come down to 2 teams or 3 teams tied at the end of the season. And then what's the first tiebreaker? I believe it's goal differential. So it's every goal is important right now, and it's an important goal. So fantastic match. I'm happy with the result. It was a scrappy win again. We show that we're not afraid to fight. We're always up for a fight, and we have the players to make those decisive differences when it counts. All right, now on to my player ratings. So Raya, I thought Raya was fine. I thought early on he had a couple shaky kicks, and I thought, oh no, this is a continuation of the City match. And I thought especially last match, I think I gave him a 4 because he just had so many giveaways. But after that, he settled on the ball nicely, made some really nice decisions on the ball, helped us play out of the back, helped us cut through their press a couple times, and made that one really, really good stop on Enciso. So Raya 7, Benny Blanco 8, just because I love him so much. Honestly, probably he's a 7, but I'm using my subjective goggles here right now, and I'm giving him an 8. I just love him. Such a warrior, and he's a proper wind-up merchant. He really is. Saliba 9, solid, so composed on the ball. Like I said, other than that one 5-second moment where he gave the ball away a couple times, he was gargantuous back there. You can't beat that man one-on-one. I don't know if there's a player in the world right now, maybe Mbappe, that could beat Saliba on a one-on-one. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. He's got everything. He's got pace, he's got quickness, he's got strength, he's a beast, he's got composure, he's calm, he's got the positioning defensively, and he's just got the confidence to know that even if the guy pushes the ball past him, he's got the recovery pace, he's got the strength, and you're not going to get around him. So Gabriel was an 8. I was a bit nervous in the first half when he went down with it looked like he was pulling on his Achilles, which I think has been the problem with him the past few weeks. That little injury he's been nursing, and the injury that kept him out of the Brazil squad in the last international break. So I was a bit nervous. I was sending him some healing energy, I was just giving him some energy from my heart and some love, and I seemed to recover pretty well. And classic, solid. I love huge block at the end. It doesn't affect the result. If that ball goes in the net, it's still a 3-1 win, still good. But you know what? Those guys care so much about the clean sheet. Those guys care so much about goal differential. When Gabriel made that block on Joao Pedro at the end, the entire team, first of all, he's fist bumping, he's going, Trossard's giving him a chest bump. They're all celebrating like they just won the World Cup, and I absolutely love that. That's what we need. That's what we need if we're going to win a title. We need that mentality. Defense is just as important as attack, if not more important. And we have the best defense. We're the best defensive team in the world right now. I truly believe that, and that's part of the reason why is that mentality. Yes, we have some tremendous players, but that mentality is so key. Okay, I am going a million miles an hour here. Zinni 6. Thought he was decent in the first half, but to be honest, he's too slow. He's too weak. He's too small. And he hasn't been offering enough on the ball. In fact, he's been making mistakes. And for me, I hope we don't see too much of him between now and the end of the season. Maybe that one match where I could live with him starting would be the match against Bournemouth later on in the season. Okay, Jorginho, I gave him an 8. I thought in the first half he got bypassed in the midfield a few times, but overall he was tremendous on the ball. He was very calm. He was very composed. When some of our other players looked a little shaky on the ball early on, Jorginho just took that extra moment, took that extra hesitation, picked out the right ball, let Brighton players run by him, and then overall it might have been a 7 match for him, but that decisive moment for our second goal is what brings him out to an 8. I loved it. Just such a heady moment, right? He's such a switch. It was such a switched on moment just to see the kind of the scrappiness going on. Saka going down, a couple Brighton players slowing down, Odegaard picking the ball up, and he just saw that space that opened up and he went for it. Took a great touch and composed himself, and it was a great cut back across the Havertz. Okay, Rice 7. I thought it wasn't his best nor his worst game. Kind of in between, and to be honest, he looked a little tired. I don't think there's too much to talk about in the match for him. He made some decent tackles. He did make a couple lung-busting runs towards the end, which I appreciate. The guy never gives up. But still not, average. 7 to me is an average score. Odegaard also a 7. Good game, good match. Average again. For him, it's an average match. I don't think he had any telling, crucial contributions except for that ball to Jorginho. And he does those nice little touches around the box. The way he maneuvers the ball is great. I just think he wasn't quite as influential as he has been, as he can be. I thought he was a little tired as well. Saka, I gave him a 6, but I'm going to bump him up to a 7 after my rereading my note from my first half analysis. I think he was brighter than I gave him credit for, especially in the first half, and ice cool for the penalty. Still looked a little tired. Still think he's nursing that hammy. Kai Havertz, 9. Man of the match for me. Kai Havertz. What a performance. At times, still looks like, he's out for like a little Sunday kick around. Then at other times, it's like he's playing for the Champions League final. And, it's a little bit of that with Havertz. I think it's more the style of play. He looks a little languid, but I don't think he lacks for effort. He definitely doesn't lack for getting himself stuck in. He definitely doesn't lack for making runs. He's very selfless. You see him, if you watch him a little bit, he's always making runs. Always, always, always. And it's not always to open up space for himself. It's to open up space for other players. And, those players are priceless. And 65 million well spent, in my opinion. Another goal, another assist. Big ups, Kai Havertz, man of the match for me. Jesus, 6. Great job doing the pen, but just something about him in those decisive moments again. Like, doesn't have that killer mentality. Doesn't have that killer mentality of I think he has the talent to be a 25 goal a season striker. Genuinely, he wiggles around the way he creates space for himself, the way he creates chaos, but he doesn't finish. He just doesn't, and he doesn't have that incisive final ball. Okay, Tommy, the subs now. On to the subs. Tommy came on. Thought he looked physically very fit again, which is very promising. Solid. Had a couple good defensive plays. Had a couple lung-busting runs. I saw him in the attacking box once or twice. Just bursting up the left-hand side. Trossard, 8. Loved him. Bumped him up to an 8 for scoring against his old club. The cheeky chip and the cold-ass celebration. Yeah, it was a cold-ass celebration, and it was an important goal. Every goal counts at this point for us. Martinelli, it was a 5. I think he looks a little bit off on the right-hand side. Last match and this match coming on just hasn't been Martinelli, and so hopefully we see him start on the left and begin to look back to his old self against Bayern on Tuesday. Big match. Okay, and then Arteta. Did I miss? Oh, Fabio Vieira. NA. I mean, he just didn't really have a sniff, did he? And Kedia as well. NA. Neither of them really didn't have enough time to make an impact. Arteta, I gave him an 8. I thought it was a well-managed match. This team has given us troubles in the past, and so a 3-0 result is fantastic. We got a couple guys. I think it was by design, especially once we were up, that Jorginho played the rest of the match and Partey didn't come on at all. I think Partey starts against Bayern. I think we took Saka off early, hopefully just to rest him for Bayern. Hopefully that hamstring injury hasn't flared up. Hasn't flared up. I'm not really sure how to say that. Hasn't flared up. Yeah, it didn't flare up. I hope that's not the reason. I hope it's just because we're resting legs before Bayern. And if so, I think that's smart. Odegaard got a little bit of rest towards the end, 7 or 8 minutes. Same with Havertz. So, and it's mentality with this team, okay? So, all right, guys. So, please like, please subscribe, please comment. We're building this page up to 300,000 subscribers. I need you guys. Please like the video. I love you guys. I do love you guys. I do love you guys. I didn't mean to move on so quickly there. I genuinely have a lot of love and care for you guys. Thank you so much for watching, for liking, for subscribing. Please let me know your thoughts. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you agree with me, you disagree, if you think I am the best YouTuber out there, if you think I'm the craziest YouTuber out there. That's what the comments are for. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think. We put ourselves out here on YouTube. We allow ourselves, we put our opinions out there, and they're just simply our opinions. You're allowed to disagree. Be respectful is one thing I'll ask. Guys, I love you. And we'll see each other soon. Big match coming up on Tuesday. Bayern Munich. Quarterfinal of the Champions League. First time in 12 years or something we've been in the quarterfinal. I'm excited. Let's get excited, guys. Biggest match of the season, in my opinion. And it's going to be a fun one at the Emirates. Much love. And we'll chat soon. Ciao, ciao.